Thanks for joining us for this bonus video today. We're going to spend some time in the shop building a custom maple door for the Modern Mountain Getaway. It's featured in episode 17 of the Building a House Start to Finish series.
Oh, yeah.
That's nice.
It's a pretty solid
wow,
door.
you made like a solid panel.
It's a real door. It's kind of cute, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might say it's adorable.
Adorable.
Can't even handle it. Cannot even handle it.
All right.
I don't know. Whatever.
We miter in these?
No. But
How about no?
that's a no. Butt joints. All right, you know, something I love about doing this is the only measurements I took on the job was what size does this frame need to be? So I measured and whatever, you know, I got the numbers. Actually, I'll show you right here. I drew this awesome little picture. This is what I measured at the job. I've got my rip for the depth of the jamb. I've got the width and the height. That's all it is, okay? So now that the box exists, everything else that I build is just based on what size is this box. So the door will be built to set in, the trim is measured to fit the outside. So it's actually pretty simple. Cool. We got our pieces cut to length. Now we're gonna put pocket hole screws in the ends of them here. Go for it, Big Daddy. These pocket holes will allow for hidden fasteners on this face frame for the jamb that the door will hang on. That was actually kind of hard to drill because this is hard maple, and this stuff really is hard. They don't call it hard maple for nothing, right?
Also be called soft maple.
Well, they make soft maple too. Why didn't we use that? After clamping two of the work pieces down, Jason can attach them with these hidden fasteners that will be on the back of this frame when it's installed.
Yeah.
Next, the frame is attached to the jamb, leaving a 1/4-inch reveal all the way around, and he's using 18 gauge brad nails to do this. Looks pretty good, yeah? Okay, are we ready?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I am.
Are you okay? He's ready. Okay, there's the frame. We measured for the door. We thought we need to make a door. So what we did is we cut some pieces of 3/4 inch thick material into 3 1/4 inch wide strips. We made the perimeter of the frame. That's going to be the outside edge. Now, the panel in the middle here, you know, there's a lot of different things you could do. You know, and sometimes I just go crazy. So what I decided to do is I ripped all these strips, and these are about 3/8 of an inch thick. We're going to glue all these together and just make a solid wood panel, and then just dado it out. I mean, just put it in like a regular cabinet door. I don't see why not. So here we go. All right, Jason's getting the glue wiped off the surface here. I am going to send this through the planer, so it's not absolutely critical that it is perfection, but it's just good practice to wipe all the glue off. So, and I wasn't even 100% worried about the edges being lined up absolutely perfect. They are pretty good. You know, and these vary in thickness just the tiniest bit because I just ran them through the bandsaw and resawed them. And that's going to get taken care of when I plane it. And it's important not to over clamp on pressure with this small of a glue joint because of the thin material. You could easily over tighten this and squeeze all the glue out. So if you're doing something kind of delicate like this, be careful not to over tighten your clamps. So we have our frame here. We have a beautiful little groove. This is a 5/16 wide groove. It's about, I don't know, I think I made it about 5/8 of an inch deep. You can see right there. Now, I plowed the groove all the way through the end, and as promised, there's a big open hole right there. Okay, we don't want that. Now, if you did mortise and tenon, you could avoid that, or if you just simply did, I don't know, something different, you could avoid that. What we're gonna do, see, we have to wait for the...
We didn't do that.
We didn't do that.
Avoid it.
No, we didn't, did we?
No.
Okay, look, there's the panel right there. Okay, it's got glue all over it. That's gonna take a while to dry. Like, not today. Maybe, I don't know, tomorrow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and fit some little pieces of wood that I'm just gonna fill these little ends right now. I'm gonna fill them, and then that will allow me to right here, and right here, I'll be able to put in some dominoes and glue this whole thing together. Boom, done. Okay, the table saw, of course, is a super handy tool. You can do almost anything with it. And making this groove was very easy with a table saw with a standard blade. Now, you could set up a dado blade, but there's no need for that. And I want to point out that the thickness of material left on each side is perfectly the same because this groove is perfectly centered. And what's a beautiful thing is that by the nature of the way that we set this up and ran it this direction, and then we flipped it around and ran it again the opposite direction, that by nature self-centers the groove so you don't even have to measure it. Like, I literally didn't measure it. All right, you know what's funny? Is a guy in a hat. All I could see was the top of your hat. What's funny is that I've never actually done this like this. Oh, brush that all in the crack all around too. Get a good brush going. Okay, so you can see what we got going on here. We're just making a little cookie to fill back in. And the reason is with the table saw, it's really hard to get a stop cut, you know, to cut to a certain point and stop. And because of the diameter of the blade, even if you did that, you would have a large curving angled part that wouldn't actually get you where you need to go. So all we're doing is refilling in the ends with the same kind of wood, some glue, and that is going to give us a place to mill the domino slots and, you know, go through solid wood instead of this gap, right? So that's all we're doing. I don't know. Do people do this? I don't even know. But I know that I'm doing it right now. All right, the little blocks are glued in. Look at that. Okay, and they stick out because I'm going to just trim them off flush when I'm done. That way I didn't have to worry about getting them perfectly. And I think that's going to work just fine. I don't know.
Up next, Jono takes the door panel, which has dried overnight in the clamps, and cuts it down to size. It's actually over width, over thickness, and over length, which was actually on purpose.
Boy, this little door has turned into a lot of work, but it's going to be beautiful when it's done. You can see that we have our domino slots plowed into the edge of the door to, in essence, make sort of a mortise and tenon joint. And those little filler blocks, you can see they're serving their purpose of allowing me to recut a space for the domino to be. I've also cut the domino holes in the end pieces. I don't know if that's the rail or the style. I never did figure that out. Rails or what, horizontal?
Wait, good question.
Nobody knows. We're not cabinet people.
Wait. Hold on, let me think.
He needs a minute to
I
think.
think the styles are up and down.
Styles? I think so too. I think so
I
too.
believe that's it.
All right, all the cabinet guys, if you're watching this, you might be laughing, but whatever.
I'm going home to get my cabinet book and look.
We're gonna go read up on it.
It was a long time ago in college.
You might notice this black stuff in the groove here. What that is weather stripping. I don't have any space balls like real cabinet door making people have. So I just use some old weather stripping. It'll do the same thing. The purpose of it basically is to cushion the panel, allow it to expand and contract without rattling inside the groove. And here's the wood panel. It is simply a 3/8 thick. Actually, we planed it down to 5/16. This is 5/16 thick hickory, glued up, made of about 5 pieces. It will go in the slot. We left a little extra wiggle room because natural wood products expand and contract. If you make this too tight in the panel, it will expand and it'll destroy your door.
And finally, if you're still with us, we have reached the assembly phase of this door. Jono and Jaime are using the dominoes and more wood glue to assemble the frame, and then they'll slide this panel in. It's not fastened in any way, so it can expand and contract, as Jaime was saying. If you don't leave this space and let the panel be free floating, it will expand and contract and blow your frame to pieces. Making wood doors is a lot more work than you would think, and that's why a lot of cabinet makers actually just order their doors from a factory and just build the boxes. That's pretty common practice. Once all the pieces are actually assembled, they are clamped to dry, and these guys even took the time to check square on this door to make sure it's not racked one way or the other before the glue sets.
All right, I'm sitting here holding this little cabinet door with my legs. I'm sitting outside on the concrete, but anyway, look, I'm putting these little hinges in here. These are just little kind of utility cabinet hinges, whatever. I'm chiseling these things out. You can see I just took my pencil and drew a line around this thing. And then I took my chisel and a hammer and I just put a bunch of cuts in it like this. So after those cuts are made, it's pretty fun actually. This is the good part. take your chisel and just kind of knock them all out of there. Look at that. Not bad, right? Do a little, you know, a little bit of that. All right, well, that was pretty terrible. But after I clean this up, I'll check the hinge for fit. If it needs a little deeper, I'll do it again. The same thing. I'll just take my hit my chisel here, pink, 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 about every 1/8 of an inch, and then swipe that material out. Should be pretty good. All right, I got the door installed, got the hinges screwed on there, and guess what? I went to shut the door and it didn't shut. So what I had to do is take one little baby saw blade off the edge of it, and then just to slick it up right here in place, I'm using my hand plane to knock off some high spots like that. Kind of hit and miss skipping, that's because it's taking the high spots. And then I can very easily take this edge off right here and just make it nice and rounded again, because it is so sharp. Let me get a good little curl going here for you.
I'm doing a lot of up down with this camera right now.
Up, down, up, down. There we go. That's getting it. Now I like it.
And there you have it, another custom detail in a Perkins built home. And we've done hundreds of these over the years, and we really haven't kept good track of them until the last year. You can see how every little part of a house is way more work than you might expect when you look at all of the things that have to happen to get it done really nicely. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.